Over the last few months, I've been developing a mod to add all the blocks Minecraft is missing because Mojang just love leaving gaps in their game. I've added well over 200 blocks that all feel like they could or should be in the game, and it's actually confusing that Mojang decided not to add so many of these blocks. Like, why are half the cut sandstone blocks missing? Why does Tuff have a full block set while calcite and ripstone have literally nothing? And why don't polished andesite, granite, and diorite have walls, but the non-polished variants do? I could keep going, but I think you get the idea. This is what my block map looked like at the end of my last video, and here's the update version, which utilizes a quick mod I threw together just for this map. As you can see, I've added a lot of extra work for myself. The first new blocks added are sandstone bricks. I considered using the smooth sandstone texture for the top of the block to match sandstone and cut sandstone, but I decided that would be unnecessarily limiting for this block. I of course also added cracked and mossy variants, and a matching set of red sandstone bricks. These new blocks allow you to make some great sandstone patterns, especially if you enable the built-in double slabs texture pack. I also added pillar variants for both sandstone and red sandstone. Next up is mossy end stone bricks, which are covered in some kind of chorus vines. I decided to use the chorus flower for the recipe, but in the future I'm working on a botanical/nature mod that will have some sort of end vine that will be used for the mossy end stone bricks recipe whenever you play with both mods together. The next new blocks are technically not missing, but they have been very highly requested and they make a lot of sense. Blue nether bricks to match red nether bricks. This set of course comes with cracked and chiseled variants. I also added red and blue nether brick items to simplify the recipes and make them more uniform. These are the first, and most likely the last new items I'll add, as this is still meant to be a missing blocks mod. One thing I want feedback on is the recipe for the blue nether brick item, which requires nether sprouts. I'm not sure if this recipe is too annoying, since nether sprouts aren't the easiest thing to farm. I don't really want to add a blue netherwort crop, so I'm not sure what other options there are that would fit. If you are familiar with this mod, you may notice that the chiseled blue nether bricks use the Enderman face even though chiseled endstone bricks already do. That is because there is a new texture for chiseled endstone bricks which has an ender dragon depicted on it. Besides chiseled endstone bricks, there are a few other notable texture updates. More types of tiles for other block sets have been another highly requested feature. I decided that stone and blackstone are the best sets for tiles, since they are meant to match deep slate, and deep slate is the only set with tiles. The stone tiles come with mossy and cracked variants, and the blackstone tiles come with cracked variants. I'm still working on figuring out how to do the mossy or mossy equivalent blocks for blackstone and nether bricks, so those will come in the next video. But I will talk about that more later in this video. Now it's time to take a look at the new colored block section of the map. The most miscellaneous missing block is the tinted glass pane, so I'll start with that. I made this block let through some light, but not all light, so it is similar to tinted glass, but it has its own functionality. It should be useful for making moody or partially dark builds. Next we have terracotta and concrete. A lot, and I mean a lot of people have been requesting stairs, slabs, and walls for these blocks. It's probably been the comment I've received the most. So I did add all 99 terracotta and concrete variants. I know this is a lot of blocks that some people may not want, so I added configs that let you disable either or both of these sets. Speaking of the configs, I added a couple others. Like one to fully control the tough pillar rework, and another to disable the rework deep slate recipes. I do need to mention that the configs for the terracotta and concrete blocks only disable the ability to obtain the blocks from crafting or from the creative mode tab, so any blocks already in the world will not be removed. There is also a new configurable feature, which, when enabled, makes stone and deep slate variants drop their cobbled counterparts if you mine them without silk touch. Two more quick features to mention are the built-in compatibility for my newest mod, Cinch's Lost Mob Grinders, which adds very rare abandoned and ruined mob grinders around the overworld, that are kind of like Easter egg features. I also improved the already existing compatibility for Cinch's villager statues, which adds ancient village statues scattered around the overworld. So if you've either of these mods installed at the same time as Cinch's missing blocks, the new blocks will sometimes generate in the structures. Something else I've been putting a lot of work into has been getting this mod updated to 26.2. I basically had to rewrite the whole mod because of how much Minecraft code changed. A lot of people don't understand how much work this mod is, especially with the dev team being just me, with a few very generous people helping with textures. Maintaining and updating all the different versions is a ridiculous amount of work because of how much Minecraft code changes between updates, But just the mod itself has far more code than you'd think due to the configs, built-in resource packs, and mod compatibility, plus the tons of data generation code that breaks with every new update but needs to be updated because it prevents me from having to write thousands of JSON files with tens of thousands of lines of code by hand. So just keep that in mind before you comment something like, "Why do updates take so long? It's just blocks." Anyway, tangents aside, with the mod updated to 26.2, I was able to add new sulfur and cinnabar blocks. Sulfur and cinnabar line up pretty well with all these sets, so I just needed to add cracked, mossy, and pillar variants. Like I said before, I'm still working on figuring out the mossy or mossy equivalent blocks for blackstone and all three types of nether bricks. But there are a few other blocks I'm still thinking about adding, like pillars for bricks, resin bricks, and the 3 nether brick colors. I will probably also add nether brick fence gates. I also might add stair slab and wall variants for glass and wool, but I would definitely have a config to disable those blocks and would probably have them off by default. I also tried making a non-cobbled version of blackstone, but normal blackstone's texture is right in between being cobbled and not cobbled, so the non-cobbled variant just looked too similar. The last thing I'm thinking about adding is something I want feedback on first. I would like to add a full soul sandstone set that matches normal and red sandstone. It would be a really nice nether set and the only brown bricks other than mud bricks. It could also be cool to lean into the soul part of soul sand in some of the textures. Something else I'm working on is the nature mod I mentioned earlier. The only reason I'm mentioning it in this video is because, like I said earlier, it's going to have plants that will have built-in compatibility with Cinch's missing blocks. If you use both mods together, then some kind of end vine will be used to make mossy and stone bricks, and maybe some kind of nether fire moss will be used for mossy blackstone and nether brick blocks. Here is a quick glimpse of some lava-covered blackstone textures that are likely what I will end up using for blackstone, possibly with some tweaks to make them look like they have a fire moss on them, rather than just lava if I do decide to add a new nether moss. This nature mod is still very early in development and just has a couple of features from my old mod, so it will be a while before it releases. And just to be clear, it will not be mandatory to have this installed with Cinch's missing blocks. Well, that's it for now. I was hoping to finish Cinch's missing blocks in this video, but that clearly didn't happen. This probably is the biggest update this mod will ever receive, since I am running out of missing blocks to add, but there should be one final update video. If you want to see sneak peeks of what I'm working on, you can join my Discord server linked in the description. And if you want to support me, you can subscribe or become a channel member. I plan on making a trailer for Cinch's missing blocks, which I want to feature some community builds in, so if you would like a build of yours featured in that trailer, just make sure it has a decent amount of my custom blocks and send the world file to my business email or to me on Discord. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy this mod, and make sure to leave your mod ideas in the comments.